Welcome to the fourth tutorial in our series on working with our pixel mapping software. In this video, we're going to look at using video content, both pre-rendered content and streaming content, to display on your pixel rig. So let's go ahead and hop over to the frame input panel here. So on this panel, we have a couple of different options. We can add frame sequences and we can add streaming sources. Just to get this set up so we can see something, let's add a frame sequence, and I'm going to go and choose this folder. And one thing to note about video input in this software is it's all done as image sequences. So basically a folder filled with JPEG or PNG images. And the reason for this is it's a very efficient and easy to work with format from the pixel mapping side of things. Can be a little bit obnoxious to render into if you're not used to it, but almost all editing software supports it. And once you get it set up, it's no big deal. Works great for looping content because you don't have any temporal compression or anything like that. But it's a little bit interesting to work with if you've never done it before. So anyway, let's go ahead and start a video playing here. You'll notice nothing happened. The reason that nothing happened is because the pixel rig is still being sent the values to be on that pixel range effect. We're not telling it to do anything else. So what we have to do is we have to go to the video effect in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just hop to that. You'll see, okay, we've got a video of a dancer on screen here. And this video has some issues that we're going to look at how to correct within this system. But before we do that, let's talk through what the video effect actually allows us to do. So if we look at the parameters on this, we'll see we can translate on the X and Y axis. So if I grab this, I can move the video around. I can scale it. So scale on the X axis, scale on the Y axis. I can adjust the color. And this is just adjusting the baseline color of the video. So it's the brightest color that it is going to get to. So I'm going to go back to white there. As always, I can adjust intensity. And if we look at the modifiers, we'll see I can adjust hue, saturation, luminosity, and contrast. So just to show you what that does, if I adjust hue, I can change the colors. Basically, it's rotating the hue value without changing intensities. I can adjust saturation, so I can oversaturate, I can completely desaturate. And you'll notice that these values at their default are at 25%. And the reason for that is you need to be able to decrease the value, but also boost it so it after a little bit of trial and error, seemed like the best way to go about that. Then we have luminosity. Luminosity is pushing the overall intensity of the values. And finally, we have contrast. So if we push the luminosity here, we can actually see, you can kind of see some of the background in there, and I may not like that, so I could adjust contrast to get rid of that. So let's go ahead and go back to the normal values on all of this so that we've got something a little bit more standard to work with. And let's fix some of the issues here. So we have the ability to set in and out points on this. So on this video, dancer stands there for like 8 seconds before the video starts, and that's not particularly great. At the end, we've got this weird glitch where it's going to red, and that's not great either. So let's just go ahead and set the beginning time to be 8 seconds, ending time to be 22 seconds. And now, as it's playing along, once it gets to 22 seconds, it's going to loop back around to the beginning, and it starts at an appropriate time. So we can adjust things like that. We can also change the frame rate of the video. So this is supposed to be played back at 30 frames per second, 29.97. But if it was supposed to be 24 frames per second, we could adjust that down and it will play back at the appropriate frame rate. We can also trigger playback on video through MIDI show control, and we can control clip selection and playback rate and which source we are looking at from DMX as well. So let me go ahead and pause this, and let's look at a streaming source now. Let's go ahead and add a new streaming source, and I'm just going to name this NDI. So we're going to make an NDI input source here. So we're going to select sources. I see an available source right now, so I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to change stream type to be NDI. So we can also take input from DeckLink cards to get SDI video input, but for this we're going to take NDI, and then I'm going to just go ahead and link this, and we're actually looking at the screen on another computer right now. And if I adjust, let's adjust the XY position, we can move it around and see this is live input coming in from another computer. You could use this for taking ProPresenter or another video server and feeding video into this to drive the pixels. Lots of different possibilities in what you can do with it. But just, yeah, no, you can take video streaming sources in as well.